46radio.com.
Yeah, we'll do that real quick there. Without further ado, that was some music from Arm's Length, by the way. That was Bruce's Boogie. And in the studio with me today, I have singer, songwriter, husband, father, grandfather, musician, sound engineer, and retired, Bruce Weldy. Bruce, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, Bruce.
I've got the air horn. I wanted the applause.
I thought you were already bleeping me, and we hadn't even got started
No,
yet.
That's how. You know what? There we go. I used my little air horn for well, I shouldn't be doing any kind of beeping today. Man, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy traveling schedule and coming by to see me, man.
I had a big, long bath and some reading planned this morning. So.
I don't know. As I say, you smell pretty fresh this morning. So.
No, I didn't do it, but I had it planned.
Oh. But I mean fresh. I mean fresh. Oh, good to have you here, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's I've known you for a while, and there's, as much as I hate to say it, there's not. You have great music out there, and there's just not a whole lot of places for you to get some airplay out of. And I'm just glad I get to do some stuff here for you and for some of the local guys.
Am I getting airplay here?
Yes, you are. As a matter of fact, did you hear that a while ago? That was Bruce's Boogie. That
that's true. Yeah, you have been using me for the bumper music,
right.
so
And
that's good.
Also remember that I did at the beginning. Well, we had the local licks show.
We did the local licks, yes,
and then we did. I started to do a 10 o'clock local thing or whatever, and you were one of my first artists that I played a couple songs from.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. In fact, that you started this deal you got going here with Alex Meixner last week, and then Gary Glenn, and now me. And based on that progression, I'm guessing next month you're going to go pick up a dead skunk and set it in here. But
yeah, well, we don't do the roadkill thing here. That may be after you do the live segment today. I don't know. You have such a radio voice. And fortunately today, I'm going to keep you hanging around until 11, so you can kind of banter with me a bit. If you don't
this
mind.
Actually isn't my real voice. I bought this from Sears and Roebuck many years ago, mail order.
And and see, now what can you get off of Sears? They're closing so many stores. You can't get that real voice nowadays, can you?
No, but they were discounted because they were going out of business.
Okay, well there you go. So hey, how long have you lived here in New Braunfels?
I have lived here since about 1959 or 60. I don't know. I was pretty young then.
Yes, you were.
I was around 2 when we moved here.
Okay.
Two or three.
Okay. And you graduated from New Braunfels High School?
I was a unicorn, as was my wife and my kids. And
okay. Well, speaking of wife and kids, give us the as I asked Gary the other day, give us the round table. What do you got going on, man?
Well, my wife was born here in New Braunfels. She was I'm still an Auslander because I wasn't born here, but she was born here, and we actually went to school a year apart. She was a year behind me. We went to Carl Schurz Junior High and high school without ever speaking to each other. I knew who she was. She knew who I was. In fact, we only lived about 4 blocks apart. But we never spoke to each other. We never ran in the same crowd. And it wasn't until we went off to different colleges that we met up one night in the Green Hall parking lot. Getting ready. I was going in with a couple of my buddies into Green Hall, and she had a couple of her friends, and we literally kind of walked up to the door together and ended up going into Green Hall. This was back when Green Hall wasn't Green Hall. It was still just an old beer joint, and
right.
It wasn't much. They had Pat and Mary Jane, I think, had just pretty much taken it over then. This was in the middle 70s. So anyway, that was kind of the first little round of dating. Then we went off and didn't for a while, then got back together, and we dated for about 3 years till she finally said, get it done or I'm going somewhere else. So I knew the time was up.
If anybody could thank you for that, that would be your kids, I guess. So you have kids and grandkids?
Yep. Yeah, we first of all, we've been married to 37 years. And
37 years, that gets...
absolutely. And I'm going to honestly tell you, Bruce, it does not seem like a day over 50. It's been good.
Ooh,
No, we had a couple of kids. My daughter Andrea's she's 35. My son just turned 30 in January. Zach, he's an architect up in north of Dallas, up in Richardson. My daughter lives up in Round Rock. Got 3 boys of her own.
Cool.
Her and her husband, and there's so we got 3 grandsons up there. 9, one getting ready to turn 7, and then a 3-year-old. So
okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, you have a great family. Carrie's a wonderful lady. So, is she listening this morning?
I'm guessing she is.
Okay, good.
She wants to make sure that she can write things down that I said wrong.
We'll see. My little comment worked out just fine then.
Yeah.
So you have a ton of musical history here in New Braunfels, and we're gonna go back to the Crystal Chandelier days. I think I don't know. Did it start before that or not?
Yeah, actually it did. Okay. Actually, it started before the Crystal Chandelier
I remember
days.
you more for that, but give it a little history. Some folks are going to say, "Oh my gosh, I can't." Did he actually play in that band? But go ahead, give me some history of your music.
Well, it started. I mean, obviously, I played trumpet in school and everything, but I picked up guitar around 12 and really wanted to play in a band. And I was always kind of a rocker, and got an opportunity just through a mistake, a fluke, to get a chance to play in a country band, and I knew nothing about country. And the country band was actually fronted by a guy everybody knows, our past state representative. I just went totally blank. My brain just went away.
That's right.
Doug Miller.
There you go.
Doug had a country band. It was had 2 different names. It was Doug Miller and the Sounds of Country, and I can't remember the other one. And I got to play in that band. I was 16, and I was horrible, but they did keep me around long enough for like 2 or 3 gigs. And I guess I can tell you, they were frantically looking for a real guitar player. But during that time, I fell in love with country, which I'd never done before, and came out of that band with Whiskey River, and I always liked that song. And from there, just a couple, 3 years later, I was in college and happened another chance meeting in a music store, and met Adolph Schaefer, who was the steel player and the guy that booked the Echoes. And at the time, they were looking for another guitar player, and the fact that I played trumpet helped too. So
sure. I
ended up in the Echoes for 3 years, and we played all over South Texas, but home for us really was Crystal Chandelier, that and El Fiesta and Seguin, and we did great in there. In fact, we held the record in there. We had 1,400 people in the Crystal Chandelier.
Jeez.
Until a guy named George Strait beat us.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're going to get beat, you might as well get beat by the best.
Beat by the king.
Those are fun days. That was college days, and playing every Friday and Saturday night. So all my friends were spending their money, and I was making money. So it was a good way to spend your college years. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. So for those that don't know, that the Crystal Chandelier obviously is not there anymore, but it is, for at least another week, the current Rudy's Barbecue here in town on Loop 337. That's where it was. And if you go to the back of the building, you'll see a bunch of promo posters and stuff back there from the old days. And I don't think there's, I'm not sure, there could be, but any of the Echoes.
Probably not. We didn't ever do any promo stuff. You know, we had out a couple of albums, and we had put our posters all over town. That's lost. Nobody does that anymore. Back then, when you had a dance coming up, every band had their own cardboard posters made, or poster boards,
sure.
And they had their name and everything else. Then you'd go in there and you'd write out 50 of these of where you were going to be and when.
Exactly.
And you'd post them at all the convenience stores all around town and around the area. And that was very normal for us and the Abbey and bands like that, the Velvets, that played that same kind of circuit.
Yeah, so unless you're not sponsored by a beer company nowadays, you're not going to see a poster probably hanging around any bar anymore.
No. Well, and probably the convenience stores probably wouldn't let you do it either. But back then it was a big deal. So we had bumper stickers. That nobody does that anymore. And every time we'd play at the Chandelier, the next Monday, you'd be driving through here in New Braunfels, and somewhere you'd see a stop sign with the Echoes bumper sticker stuck on it.
Right.
And that was just kind of normal. They'd peel them off. Well, the funny story is, about 5 years after that band broke up, I was going down Comal Street one day, coming to right there at the stop sign at Garden, and there was a fresh, brand new Echoes bumper sticker stuck on that stop sign. So somebody had one stuck away, and I guess they were feeling a little nostalgic, and they went out and plastered one on a stop sign there. That made me feel pretty good. Made me
that
smile.
is pretty cool. And I mentioned to you a little while back, we were helping a friend of Shannon's do some cleanup at her mom's house after her mom had passed, and they had a guitar case sitting in a closet, and they asked if I wanted the guitar. It was a bass guitar, and I'm going like, oh, wow, there's no telling what could be in there. And you open it up, and there's a, kind of like here we go back to Sears, a Sears grade guitar. I'm going like, hey, but it's an older guitar. And I closed the lid, and what is on top of that lid but an Echoes sticker?
Yeah.
I said, I got so excited. She goes, what's the matter? You okay? I was like, I'm so excited. Look at the Echo sticker on there. So I told you about that, and you patted me on the back and sent me on my way.
Well, and the odd thing about the Echoes is that it wasn't even spelled right. The band was spelled ECHOS, and obviously Echoes has got an E in there.
Uh-huh. Well, it gets the word across.
It worked, and it was a very, very good deal to do being in college. I put myself through college doing that.
That's awesome.
Pay was good back then in the big dance halls.
Oh, it was good. It was
a whole different world than it is now in venues.
Don't even get me started with that. So let's continue with your band history.
Well, after that, I went off and went to school and dropped out a couple of times. I wasn't smart enough to only drop out once. It took me twice to get it done.
Well, that was a smart thing.
Well, and ended up in the computer business for a long time. And while I was doing that, we built a recording studio here in town, out on Lake Dunlap called Walk on Water. First, it was Walk on Water Productions. A guy named Ron Sturm and I started that, and then Ken Brazel came in with us,
yes.
And it became Walk on Water Studios. And we recorded some local bands, and we recorded some jingles and some commercials and stuff. And in fact, I seem to remember guys were barely probably still in high school.
And do you know that you had said, oh, look at all those 45s you got on that wall. Do you know I had that 45 hanging up there?
Oh, is it one that we did there?
Yeah, waiting for the sun to shine, and there was something on the other side of that. I don't remember what it was, but it was McLaughlin was playing piano.
Oh, okay, Paul McLaughlin. Well, I could I'll never forget sitting there in the control room and Matt Fonsteel. Again, I think he was probably still in high school when y'all did that, and sitting out there going, oh my gosh, I wish he'd let me come play those solos, and I didn't see him again for several years. And then the next time I saw him, I went, oh my God, he just passed me up like I was standing still. What an amazing guitar player. He blew by me like nothing. And anyway, it's great to still get to see those guys. In fact, I do sound for Rumor Town now, which is a bunch of the old Bleeders Creek guys, Jay Eric and Matt Fonsteel, and Bruce Allen here on bass, and John Thiem on drums, and usually Mike Daly from George Strait's band plays steel with us.
Exactly.
And I get to run sound for that, and that's been an absolute joy in my life. I love it. Good players, good singers, a lot of fun.
We get more comments about our sound in a good way. There are more bands that try to get you to run sound for them, and we're very envious of that. That's a great feeling to have, I would think.
Oh, I enjoy it. I got into the sound deal. I was playing in the Echoes after about a year and a half or so in. This is in the days when you didn't have everything in the sound system. You just mic'd vocals through the old big voice of the theater cabinets.
Exactly. And
everybody played on stage and turned up to 10, and you'd rock the place. Well, that's when people were starting to go to sound systems. This was about 1978, 79. And we went up to Heart of Texas and bought us a big old Dietz system, and I stepped off the stage and got into running sound. And so I would do sound all night, and then I'd go up on stage and do several songs, the ones that I sang. So I kind of kept my foot in both doors. But that got me started in sound, and then like I say, we did the studio. And I've always enjoyed sound and being a part of it. And then once I retired, had the opportunity to really kind of jump into it. So it went from building a few speaker cabinets to now I've got a trailer full of gear, and for the last 4 years, we have a little sound company. We've done all the Concerts in the Park series, and we do a monthly show at the KC Hall, which I'll put in a plug. Tonight, the Kamau Country Music Show is going on at the KC Hall. Does every month, the third Tuesday of every month, and it's it's a band of musicians that come in and play for free, and they come from all over the place. A bunch of good players, and they back up 3 guest stars every time. And the guests come from all over the place, so it's kind of like our own little version of a Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah,
and it's a really pretty neat deal. It's a lot of fun, and they do charge a little cover charge, and but the money all goes to charity. So this last December, the KC Hall turned over $5,850 or so, I think, to Meals on Wheels.
That's cool.
So it's a really neat deal. It's not a dancing deal. It's a show.
It's a concert.
Yeah, they got a concert. They have chairs and stuff out. They sell sandwiches and pie. It's really kind of neat.
And that is tonight.
It's tonight.
At the KC. What time does the show start?
Starts at 7:30.
Okay.
At 7:30 to 10. It's done in two sessions. There's you have a little 30-minute break in there. And so all the 3 guest stars do 3 songs in each session,
okay.
And then some of the band members will do a song or 2 in between there too.
So it starts at 7:30. So what? The young folk nowadays are the last minute folk. Now the folks that come out to the country music show, they're a little older.
Yeah, it's
and
typically a little older crowd.
do they get there like an hour or 2 beforehand just so they can yak with each other?
Oh, no. They get there an hour or 2 beforehand so they can get their spot.
Their regular spot.
There are some regulars who when they open the door, they sometimes beat me in the door, and I'm there with the trailer to unload and start getting set up. And they will get up there, and they have pieces of paper already put together, and they will tape it down on the chairs.
They're serious about their country music show.
They're reserving their spot. Of course, what they don't realize is that the worst place to hear any kind of concert is in the front row.
Oh yeah,
because the speakers are off to the side. The best sound is usually 6, 8 rows back.
And remember, you were always too loud.
Off the front row. Well, that's always the thing. The people sit right in front of the speakers and go, "It's too loud." Well, you could back up a little.
Get moved somewhere else.
But no, it's a great show. It's a lot of fun, and I think more young people ought to go to it. It is kind of a good time.
It is really pretty cool.
A lot of classic country. And you get to, sometimes we have some young players that come on, and they're good folks.
Well, Katie Offerman used to be at one point played fiddle and stuff.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think
she did.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Who'd you?
Katie.
I'm sorry. I thought you said something. I thought you said Kenny, because there was a guy named Kenny that an older fellow that used to play with it. She may have played on there. I have not seen her on the show since I've been.
No,
there.
she's up at Berkeley right now. But that was where I first met her. Where her parents had to drive her to the shows and stuff like that. A youngster, and she was already prodigying it out. So she did very well. So now you're in a current band now, but before that, where you're probably maybe the most popular recently was Arm's Length. Tell me about Arm's Length.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, if we go back a little bit.
Okay.
In 1998, we actually started a band called Plan B.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And that was with Jack Williamson, Earl Everton, and Don Jamella, who's an attorney here in town. Anyway, we did a bunch of neat songs back then. A lot of classic rock stuff, more album oriented, I guess, than the hits. A fair number of Allman Brothers songs, things like that. And it was a good band. It stayed together for about 9 years, and after a while, we added a keyboard player, Mark Holcomb, in. And anyway, it went on for about 8 or 9 years, and then, like all bands, they eventually fizzle out. Well, it kind of fizzled out, and then moved on to getting back to my country roots, and did a little 3-piece with Gordon Bartling on drums and Kevin Laney on bass. It was kind of a little rockin' country deal. And that's where I actually started writing music. I'd written some stuff in the past, but I started writing some country songs, and we played a bunch of them.
Sure.
So anyway, that we did that for about 3 years.
What was the name of that band?
That was called the K-Bar W Band.
Okay, there we go. All right.
That was the K-Bar W Band. And from there, we went on to, I guess the next iteration was back with Jack Williamson and Earl Everton. We had constantly, for years, the 3 of us have gotten together and just played and jammed and worked on songs. Well, we got back together and said, maybe we ought to do one more band. We're all getting old, but it's like we can do it one more time.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to the drummer that we wanted, hoping that he would come along with us, and we were kind of nervous. So I took him out to lunch. A guy named John Thiem, who happened to be playing with Retro FX at the time, and who is now in Rumor Town.
Yes, indeed.
And great guy, great family, just all around, all American folks. Anyway, I thought, I don't know if this guy will play with us because he's really good. And so I took him to lunch one day and asked him, and he just beamed and said, "Gosh, I've always wanted to play with you guys from back when you had Plan B." I was like,
all right.
So he came on board with us, and we got out and started playing some. We played a lot out at Oma's and Green, and we played concerts in the park, and had a real good run. We started doing quite a bit of original music. In fact, we put out a CD of original stuff. I wrote a bunch of them. Jack wrote some. One of them, the Bruce's Boogie that you use for bumper stuff that we heard a minute ago, that's one of them's on there as an instrumental. Anyway, it's all kind of rock and blues based stuff.
Great stuff, by the way.
Well, thank you. It's and it's a lot of my profound, serious writing, obviously, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And that went on, and that band, Arm's Length, would be going today were not for the loss of our bass player, Earl Leverton.
Yeah, rest in peace there, Earl. Man, great bass player. And, it's one of those things where you could, you have influences for different musicians and stuff like that. And when I got tired when I watched him play. He was like the who's was it? Int whistle?
Yeah.
His like if he had an extra finger on his hand, he'd be using it.
He was, and the funny thing is, you never felt like he was trying to play lead bass back there. He was just always there. He was making the rhythm section happen, and he and John played so well together because they had played in bands before together, in jazz bands and stuff. So they brought a lot of influences, and we were doing a lot of Allman Brother type music, and the rhythm section's what that's all about. So. Yeah, they were great together. Earl got cancer and fought it much longer than anybody thought. In fact, he would always tell us that he was past his expiration date because
and he would play when he was sick.
He played when he was sick. In fact, he was getting smaller and smaller and thinner and thinner, and so our last show that we got to play together was at Concerts in the Park last summer, second week of June. And Earl at that point was probably down to about 120 pounds.
Right.
So, and it was hard for him because one of the biggest problems he had for some reason with the cancer was his hands would cramp up real bad. And so we actually had to stop a little early that night. We probably still had time for another song or two.
Right.
But he couldn't go anymore. His hands were gone. He said, I got one more, guys, and so we did one more, and that was the last song we ever played as Arm's Length live. However, even though he was health wise was going down, we still tried to get together. We were talking about recording another album at that point. We had enough material together, so we were gonna do that. It just got tougher and tougher for him. So I guess it was in August. He came into the studio with me. I'd laid down some tracks on a new song, and he played bass on it. Spent a couple hours in the studio, and just that kind of little outing would take him 2 or 3 days to get over. That's how weak he was.
Right.
But he wanted to play one more time. So anyway, he came in and got it done, and I just need to do the final mix on it, and we'll put that out. And,
well, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it was a neat tune, and it was good to have his last time playing was there with me. In fact, I guess his actual very last time playing was I got his bass out the week before he died, and because I was going to take it to my house, and he said, "Let me have that thing," and so I went and handed it to him, and he couldn't really hold it, and it sat on his leg, and it hurt his leg, so I got a pillow and put under it, hold up on his leg, and he sat there and played for a minute on it.
That's awesome,
and that was cool. So that was the last time he got to play.
Well, dude, we're gonna Earl will be missed, but we'll eventually get to the same place we all hope where he is, and it's anybody's guess of who he's playing with now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be somebody pretty fantastic that's going like, do you see how fast his fingers go? I want him in my band.
I imagine he's playing with better guitarists than me.
Well, no. No, you're a great guitarist as well. And by the way, for those of you just joining us, we are listening to, as I would say, intelligent conversation with singer-songwriter, New Braunfels Bruce Weldy. And Bruce is going to be playing some tunes live for us here in just a few minutes, and we're going to do a Facebook Live as well. Also, we'll talk about your new CD. But let's see, where am I? Where was I going here with this? Well, no, let's just talk about the songwriting stuff is where I was going. Oh. What possesses you?
I think possess is the right term.
How do you get your songwriting ideas?
Well, you talk to songwriters and you read articles about them, and all these great songwriters, they've always gone through all this angst and all these problems in their lives, and they've, the old saying is you got to live the blues if you want to play the blues and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, I've been blessed. I've had one hell of a great life. I have not had those kind of down times. I have not had the problems, the things that you normally write about when you're a songwriter. So quite honestly, all of my stuff has pretty much had to come from some kind of funny line comes up and a song comes from it. So that's why there's not a whole lot of real serious, poignant songwriting on my end. Most stuff I do is pretty silly, but
it's original. I mean, it's a Bruce Weldy.
It's definitely my crap.
And it'll eventually be a cult classic at some point. I'm not sure exactly what cult will grab onto it.
It's a cult of 4. My family's listened. We have more than 4 in the family, but 4 of them like it. So
no, I'm going to get some of your stuff on. I'm going to play some of your stuff a little more regularly on here. I apologize for not doing that, but I don't know. Everybody has their reasons why they maybe can't fit something in. But when you step back and look at it a little bit, I need to put your stuff in there a little bit more often, and I'm going to do that.
Well, mine's kind of just, I don't even know how you describe mine, but it's not the new country type stuff. I'm kind of an old style country guy. But
they always had a lot of that kind of stuff on Hee Haw.
But it's my songwriting's been, I write blues stuff that we did in Arm's Length, and but then I've always liked the country stuff, so I've written all these country songs over the years, and finally last year decided it was time to get them down before I end up under the dirt. So just wanted to have them done. So I recorded the ones I had written and got them out there. There's 6 country songs on this CD, and there is one serious song. I have written one really serious song in my life.
That's Why Don't I Cry?
Why Don't I Cry, Lord? Which is kind of a prayer. And anyway, that was my one serious one, so it's cool. On the end there.
Well, we're talking about this particular CD right here, folks, and I'm holding this CD up because I'm recording this for the full length interview that you can catch on YouTube and on Facebook. But this one here is called "They Call Me Booger." We won't go in how you got the nickname, but here's the CD. And
it has nothing to do with my nose. I can tell you that. It has nothing to do.
So no picking and grinning there. But you're going to play for us a couple of live tunes here in just a few minutes, and I want to play while we get everything set up here for you to do that. I want to go ahead and play one of the songs from this CD. How did "All I Want Was a New John Deere" come about?
Well, it's a play on words, and nowadays, I don't know how many young people actually remember what a Dear John letter is. That comes from back in the war days when, back World War II and stuff, when the girl back home would find a new boyfriend and write the Dear John letter to her ex-boyfriend who's over fighting in a war somewhere. And so we've always, heard about a Dear John letter. It means you're getting blown off. So I thought, Dear John Deere, you got to have a song about that somewhere. So, the line of "all I wanted was a new John Deere and all she gave me was a Dear John." First thing I did, I said, "Oh God, somebody has to have already written that. That's just too easy." And I went and searched, and I could not find anywhere where anybody had written that. So it started with that line in the title, and my writing usually comes quick. I'm just riding down the road, and a line will come to me, and next thing you know, I've got a pencil and an old bank deposit slip I'm writing on the back of. And in fact, that one, well, I don't know if it's that one or not, but I've had some where I was be going to the gym, and I'd literally run into the gym and grab something to write on and sit there and just start writing before I started working out because something came to me. And so they usually come kind of fast and furious. There's not a whole lot of time in my songs and thought or introspection. It's they're just not that deep
Nor
profound.
right off the cuff here.
But this one, I will tell you real quick. This is a story song, and it's about a guy who thought he was getting a John Deere tractor for his birthday because he'd saved up all the money, thought his wife was going to get it. But unfortunately, she kind of turned the tables on him and not only didn't buy him a new tractor, but ran off with an old boyfriend. So this kind of relates the story of what happened throughout, and I hope you enjoy it.
And there we are. Here we go. It's All I Wanted Was a New John Deere with Bruce Allen and Bruce Weldy. The Bruce duo here. Texas46radio.com. Enjoy. Yes, sir. That was Bruce Weldy with All I Wanted Was a New John Deere. That's every man's wish, isn't it? No, John Deere's a little bit more expensive. I'll just go with the cheaper models. Bruce, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
And we're going to be playing some live tunes. And what's the first one that we're going to have you do?
Well, the first one's a sad little love song about a girl that used to drink and she doesn't anymore. And it's about her significant other making his case that he liked her better when she was drinking.
Well, this is this off the?
This is on the album, as a matter of fact.
This is on the album. This is on.
They Call Me Booger.
But look, if you're dyslexic or backwards, that's it right there. They call me Booger.
Or backwards, it's Regoob.
There we go. Bruce Weldy, fire away, sir.
Preacher said sobriety is the only way for you to see how you messed up your life and just how low you've sunk. Now you're a pain in the ass most every day ever since you put the booze away. I think I like you better when you're drunk. Yeah, I think I like you better when you're drunk. 'Cause you had a sense of humor when you were a booze consumer. We'd party all night till dawn, then wake up on the lawn. Yeah, I think I like you better when you're drunk. We used to go out on the town, just you and me messing around, hitting every honky-tonk till they would close. Well, I'd drink beer and you'd drink gin, then we'd both yell, set 'em up again. And how we made it home, nobody knows. I think I like you better when you're drunk. 'Cause you had a sense of humor when you were a booze consumer. We'd party all night till dawn, then wake up on the lawn. Yeah, I think I like you better when you're drunk. Now you wake up full of energy. You're pissed 'cause I got in at 3. Your list of chores will take all day to do. Well, I'm hungover, but you don't care. Wish you'd get the hell out of my hair. I got a real bad case of the brown bottle flu. I think I like you better when you're drunk. 'Cause you had a sense of humor when you were a booze consumer. We'd party all night till dawn, then wake up on the lawn. Yeah, I think I like you better when you're drunk. Yeah, I think I like you better when you're drunk.
There you go.
Oh,
Hold on, I'm gonna have this here. Oh, outstanding. And I thought, Carrie was, when I was talking to Carrie a while back, she said, Bruce writes all these neat songs. I cannot believe he said he used me as an example for a song, but that wasn't the one, was it?
Oh, they're all about her.
Oh, Carrie. No, don't leave yet, Carrie. I need that extra stream. Please don't.
No, I couldn't be Carrie because, anybody knows her knows she, her drinking consists of like 3 pina coladas a year.
And she can't run a 10K, 15K marathon with after doing something like that, can she?
Look,
okay.
I just got a text from a friend of mine. He's obviously not listening. He says, when do you want me to pick you up for lunch?
Tell him thanks, and you can explain it to him over lunch.
Yeah, everybody hang on out there while I text back.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to let you do. Okay, I'll let you do. I'd like for you to do another tune here, so what do you got?
All right, this is one serious song I wrote. I talked quite a bit earlier about our bass player Earl passing away. Before he left us, I don't know, I was out walking in the park one day listening to Delbert McClinton, and all of a sudden words started coming to me, and So I wrote a little tribute song about him, and I'll tell you the story real quick. I wrote him an email and just told him, said, hey, I wrote a song about you. I don't know if you want to see the words or not, because it's about you. You know, it's about the past tense. And he said, no, send them on. So I did. We had that kind of relationship. I mean, he knew he was dying. This wasn't any surprise. So anyway, I sent him the words, and he really liked them. And so I set out to try to get this thing recorded before he passed away. In fact, I was hoping he could play on it. And so I brought that up to him, and he said, well, I don't know, that might be a little weird. I said, yeah, but, I think it'd be perfect. That's just kind of your sense of humor. He goes, yeah, I think it would be. So unfortunately, he couldn't do it. He just wasn't physically able. So I got the song pretty much recorded, all but the bass. And our good friend Jeremiah Hamilton, great bass player and a sound guy. He travels all over, or has traveled all over the world running sound. Anyway, he's another one of the many, many very talented people we have in this town. Jeremiah came in and played the bass part on the song on Earl's bass, which was really kind of neat too. And we got it finished and got it mixed, and I was able to take it over to Earl's house and play it for him on Saturday and Sunday, both days. And it got a bunch of smiles and a big thumbs up, and Earl passed away on Tuesday. Anyway, I just thought it'd be worth the tribute. This song's never been done live. Just played we've played the recording. In fact, Bruce played it here, I think.
I did.
Right after he passed away.
I sure did.
And it was played at his funeral. So I think we'll do a little bit of Earl's Gone for you.
That sounds awesome, Bruce.
Well, you hear that rumble coming? Well, it ain't no southbound train. You say it sounds like thunder, but there ain't no lightning or rain. It's coming from back in the corner, from a fellow with his eyes clamped shut, digging in hard on that Fender jazz, making the crowd all shake their butt. That's Earl. Well, there's a special place in music heaven for the man that goes down low. He don't get no screaming fans, but without him there ain't no show. Well, the drummer can have a solid beat, and the guitar plays a sexy groove, but it's only the lonely bass man who can make the music move. Well, that's Earl. It don't matter what kind of bass it is, 4-string, 5, even 6, just as long as they all go low and put out some solid licks. But it's the fingers that make the magic, and there's only a certain few that can make the low end come to life like my old friend Earl used to do. That's Earl. Well, now Earl's gone and so's the rumble that used to go so low. Nobody knew it, the truth be told. It was him that made the show. He laid the foundation down that let the rest of us shine without the spotlight or fame. But now he's gone and so's the rumble, and it'll never be the same. Yeah, now Earl's gone and so's the rumble, it'll never ever be the same. Earl's gone. Gone. Yeah, we miss you, buddy. Love you, brother.
That's Bruce Weldy with his song Earl's Gone. Beautiful song, sir. You know, I said I was going to have you hang around with me till 11, and I almost meant it literally. So, hey, we've been listening to conversations with Bruce Weldy here in the studio. Bruce, thank you so much for coming in and playing some live tunes. And don't forget about the country music show tonight at the KC Hall.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with Bruce Allen in the morning, here in the edge of the Texas Hill Country.
There you go. Bruce, take care, my friend, and we'll talk to you again soon, as if you're going to be heading out of the studio right now. But he's going to hang around for a little while. But thanks again, my friend.
Thank you.
And let's go to a little more music while we're changing things out. Let's hear a couple from our sponsors.